What's going on, sparklers?
Welcome to Spark in the Valley. This is episode 3.
We made it to episode 3.
Yeah, we did.
Wow.
They haven't kicked us off yet, so I feel like we're doing all right, you know?
No one's banned us yet.
No one's thrown a beer bottle through the window.
Not yet.
We haven't had to completely switch to a different form of social media,
Exactly.
so I feel like we're doing all right.
Yeah.
Better than half the country right now.
Yeah.
For sure.
There's been a lot of...
But which half?
Yeah.
Which half is it?
Which
well, that's
half
the
is
question,
it?
isn't it?
Yeah, we'll
Actually,
get
I
into that.
know the answer to
Yeah.
that one, but that's okay.
Yeah, we'll definitely get into that today.
Thank you for joining us. This is Julius.
This is Alex.
This is JP.
And this is Cody.
And as already stated by Ms. Alex, this is Spark in the Valley. We are Spark in the Valley. You are Spark in the Valley. We started this podcast to start sparking conversations.
I think we've done a pretty good job of doing that in the last couple of
I
weeks.
think so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The reception has been overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah.
I think so. We have a long way to go. We have a lot to learn.
Oh my God. Think about how much we learn each week.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We've learned so much in this process.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
every week, I think it's gotten better each week, but it's just, my gosh, the things that we've learned over the course of the last month is crazy.
I know it. It's
Yeah.
been something.
Yeah.
I've had to brush up on my own personal tech skills.
Yeah.
But we want to just kind of touch on the temperature, the temperament. If you've been following us, our chronicles, last week we kind of went out into the community here in Athens. We spoke with a few friendly city. Wait, are they Athenians? We're Athenians.
Athenians.
Athenians,
Yeah.
yeah.
Athenians in the friendly city, and it was very eventful. We were able to speak with some college students or people who were at TWU, that is Tennessee Wesleyan University, and we learned a lot. As Alex is saying, we got a bit of a snapshot of the community that we're around.
We got some opposing viewpoints, got some ideas of how people are feeling.
Damn right, we got some opposing viewpoints.
Yeah.
We talked to some
We
elected
talked about
officials.
that.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty
talked
cool.
to some elected officials,
Yes.
some new winners, which is
Also,
really cool.
we are in the profile picture with Jordan Curtis. Which
Yes,
is,
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You just see Jordan on one side and then my powdered wig on the other side. I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's me.
Nice. Yeah, that was a nice little shout out. Thank you again, Jordan, for that impromptu interview. If anybody saw that was at the drop of the hat, and he allowed us to speak with them, and it was great.
No, yeah, the conversation basically was like, hey, Jordan. And he was like, hey, guys. We go, hey, we've got a show. You want to be on it? He goes, yeah, guys.
Sure, why
And
not?
then we had the conversation.
Yeah,
It was
then we
great.
had to go. Yeah, it was
was
awesome.
so easy. He was extremely accessible.
Yes.
I really appreciated that.
Yeah, he did a good job too. Everybody did a good job. It was a good interview.
But those interviews took place on Election Day, and it is
Almost a week after,
a week after.
as of this recording.
Obviously, a lot of things have changed in the last week.
A lot of things have changed.
What things have changed, I wonder.
I wonder what those are.
Mr. Biden is our president-elect now.
Oh, that's correct. AP.
Are we allowed to say president-elect on this
Well,
show?
we can say president-elect. He is still technically Vice President Biden.
Right. That would still be his
Though,
title for now.
some people would say Al Gore was the president-elect for 39 days in 2000.
Oh, don't start.
Oh,
Don't
I
start.
did. I saw something on that.
The counts were under 1 million. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It
it
was
was
like-
Vastly
very
So yeah,
different,
it was a
vastly
lot
different.
closer than this election.
I see.
A lot
I
closer.
see.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
It really came down to like Florida. I mean, it was really.
Just Florida. And then Florida was like, don't go there or go there. It's your choice.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's weird because like the person in charge of Florida, the governor at the time, was Jeb Bush,
Oh, wow.
George Bush's brother.
Oh man,
You know?
I didn't even
Talk about
realize that.
conflict of interest.
No, yeah, I mean
Woo.
that was the whole thing. It, like, man, we seriously could sit down and have a long form discussion about the issue that took place in the 2000 election. I think it would be so interesting.
Really?
Because if you guys thought this was crazy right now, imagine having actually been like cognizant of what was going on in 2000.
Now I remember all the recounts. I remember
I do
people was like,
too.
"Oh, we got to
I do
recount,
too.
recount,
I was
recount."
only 9, and I remember
I really wish there would be like a movie or something coming out about that, because it's so interesting the amount of stuff that went down for like, I mean, like what you said,
39 days.
39 days. And it was like nobody knew what was going to happen.
Wow.
There were legit like protests in the street, like about like who was supposed to be the president and all this stuff. It was crazy. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, people think that this is new. But
No, yeah, and
not.
it's like, yeah, this is crazy.
Right.
But at the same time, I mean, like, there's a clear winner here.
Yeah.
Like 4 million more votes. Like
5
almost
million.
how many more electoral votes? I mean, a ton more. I don't even keep track.
Oh,
of
They
yeah.
still haven't called Georgia, North Carolina, or Alaska yet.
Not like it matters at this point.
No,
But, I mean,
there's
it's like
no.
it does. It does.
Right now,
All
it's
votes matter.
294 to 214 or something. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
he blew him out of the water.
When was
so
the last time America had a problem counting all the votes? Like, there's so many votes, we have to just make
that's actually
sure.
one of the few systems that seems to work efficiently in our country. I mean, most of the systems are so broken and they
I
have
really
so
think-
many problems, and that is the one that seems to work. Pretty efficiently.
No, you know what would work more efficiently? I think we need to get whoever runs American Idol to run our elections
Right.
from now on.
Yeah,
You just
'cause they
text,
are on
text,
top of
text
it.
one,
Just text your vote in.
Text
Yeah,
your
text your
vote
vote in,
in.
text 1 for Biden, text 2 for Trump, and then by the end of the hour, we have the.
You are so right,
the
because they
election.
have something built in where it's like, okay, you can't vote more than once from your
Right.
cell phone.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, come on.
Hey, and I mean,
you
like,
can pay to vote more.
And I'm 100% joking about
I
that.
know that.
It's like I am 100% joking about
know
that, but
that.
still, I mean, there needs to be a more efficient way to do it. But I totally
Yeah.
understand having to make sure that not only the electronic vote is right, but then also the in-person.
Yeah.
I totally get the system of checks and balances that they have there. It was a tough year because there were so many votes, and I mean, honestly, we weren't prepared for it. We weren't prepared for almost a ton of votes. I'm not going to sit here and say that I know the exact number.
Right. Yeah, it was
Well,
a ton of votes.
Biden got what, 75 million?
Yeah, and Trump was like
Trump
right
got,
behind him at like 71, 70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't
So,
a landslide
quite
we
a
all
lot.
thought it was going to
Trump
be, but
still got more votes than Obama did in 2008, which
More people voted.
More people voted.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was really something to be said about this election was the voter turnout and the young voter turnout. I mean, the young voter turnout came out so strong. And I saw a map today that said it was like the different percentage points, and almost the entire country, except like maybe 3 states, the young turnout was like overwhelmingly for Biden, which I think is really, that just shows you how much of an impact they had on this election. And I'm just so proud of them. Like, I told my little sister who absentee voted from Boston, I told her, like, I'm so proud of you for voting. And she was like, all my friends voted too. And I was like, tell them that I'm so proud of them and thank you, because it made such a difference that all these young 18-year-olds, who had to register when they were 17, came out and voted. Like, it's so awesome. And it's just great to see them being civically engaged, because I think a lot of people were worried that young people were losing so much interest in voting. They've always been the voting bloc that doesn't vote as much as everybody else. And to see them come out in such numbers was just really encouraging, because it means that hopefully they will continue that trend and they will continue to vote, and we'll have a more equitable, turnout when elections happen. It'll be more equitable because we'll see more of the country. If you're
Yeah.
missing a huge section of people,
You're right.
it's not equitable.
You're right.
So it's
Very
just
interesting.
it's good to see them actually practicing their civic duty. It's just really great. And I can't say shit. I didn't vote at all when I was younger. I mean, I would vote occasionally, but I barely voted until I
right.
was 25, and then I started consistently voting.
I didn't vote for a long time because I didn't want jury duty. I thought
Oh,
that was,
Lord.
But I thought that was like a big thing. Like, oh, if I vote, they're gonna make me do jury duty, and it's gonna be terrible.
I've literally never been called for jury duty.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
dude, my mom was called for jury duty like 5 times.
My mom was on the
Wow.
grand jury for a year.
Okay.
Yeah, like I think my mom did like a murder trial or something like that
Oh,
here in
wow.
Athens. Yeah.
Before the pandemic, I was on jury for supposed to be on jury for 6 months. And
Oh
then
my
the-
God.
girl, and then the pandemic hit, and I was like, yes. And then she sent out another notification. It was like, actually, we're gonna just push your duties to the next 6 months.
You just tell them you have COVID, and then you're just not going to be able to.
I have COVID for 6 months.
I
I'm
have
sorry.
COVID for 10 years. Like, don't even call me.
I'm fortunate enough that the courts did not open back up, and I think she's just going to end up like relieving. I know you're watching, girl, but she may just end up relieving just everybody.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's what
Oh man, I hope so. 6 months, Jesus. That's
But
crazy.
no, I don't mind being a part of the process, especially the past 4 years has really made me wake up to
Me
like,
too.
how important I am.
Yeah.
You know, like all of us are in that, you know. Because at first I was like, oh, jury duty. And then talking to him, talking to just a number of people, like I really see how important it is.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
to be a part of that. So,
You know what? It felt real good to vote, though.
I love voting.
it was so cool.
This year, I feel like, and I
It
don't
felt
know,
really good to vote and win. I'll put that out there.
Right.
You know,
Because we lost last time.
I
We
want to
lost
say
last time.
to everyone
last time.
listening, we try to be as bipartisan as we can, but we're
not shying away
we
from
obviously have our own opinions,
Thank you.
and
Thank
we are
you.
excited about it
Yes,
right now.
we're human beings.
There's not been much people with our viewpoint haven't had much to be excited about.
That's
in 4
exactly
years.
right. If you have an opposing viewpoint and you want to get your voice heard,
Come up to
We
me at a
want
polling
to
station,
hear.
man.
We want to
we
hear
want to
what
hear
you have
it,
to
but
say.
you're also more than welcome to start your own podcast. So,
Right.
You don't have to listen to us. We love you.
We
to
love you
listen.
listening.
But you don't
And
have to.
We also welcome your opinion. Come on,
And we
talk.
really do try to talk about things and, things that affect everybody, not just one side. And we try not to, we just have opinions as well. Like I am a very opinionated person and I'm pretty unapologetic.
If we weren't, then it wouldn't be a very good podcast.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly. So, there's a certain amount of that has to come in where we're still ourselves,
And I want people to know that just because we are excited that Joe Biden has won the presidency does not mean that we're going to sit down and just let Joe
Oh,
Biden get away.
absolutely.
No, we want to hold
I'm
him
gonna hold that
accountable.
man accountable.
Yeah.
Like,
I got a few
First
things to
thing,
talk
I mean,
That's
like
one of the
we've
things
got to
that
talk
I'm-
about health care. We've got to talk about immigration reform. We've got to talk about a lot of different things that he hasn't touched
police
on yet.
brutality, climate change. I mean, there's some huge things that need to be dealt with. But can we also talk about the first female vice president, y'all? Oh my God. After Trump was elected and everything happened to Hillary, I thought, I am never going to see a female in that office.
No.
I'm never going to see a woman in my lifetime. We took so many steps backwards, and I just thought, okay, this is proof that America is just never going to vote a woman into this office.
Well,
and
let's still say America has not voted for a woman president.
No. I mean,
America-
but I just mean
Well,
in
they
the
did
two
because
highest
Hillary won
office.
the popular
That's
vote.
popular
Yeah,
vote.
that's
More
very
people
true.
wanted Hillary as president.
Yeah, but
so-
the electoral, we're still talking within the system. Electoral didn't
America
count.
voted her in.
Yeah,
true.
the American people wanted her in there, but the states did not.
Yeah.
All I can say is that I didn't cry when Joe Biden won. I cried when I
did.
realized that Kamala Harris was going to be the vice president.
Yeah.
And I'm not even like a huge Kamala fan. I think she's
Right.
great. I think she was a wonderful senator. It was for what she stands for, and the fact that so many little girls woke up this morning and thought,
Oh, wow.
oh man, I can be the vice president. I can be the president. This is a possibility for me. It's an actual possibility because there's an actual woman in this office.
Isn't it crazy how like the past 4 years honestly has brought out to surface some of the worst in Americans, but like on the other side of it is the stance that there are amazing people in this country.
Yeah.
And we speak together using our voice of the vote.
Yeah.
And we're saying, actually, we're not down with this.
Right.
This is actually not cool.
Yeah.
We dealt with it because we're all a part of this system. But 4 years from now, or like next time we get a chance to make this right, we decided to make it right.
Yeah,
decided
we did
to
it
at
in
least go that
2018 too.
direction. Yeah.
Look at the midterms.
Yeah.
We just, it was just overtaken with people who were like, no, we're not doing this.
Yeah.
We don't believe in all this hate speech. We don't believe in all of this like division and all, and the derisive nature that is all of the, the people who happen to be in office, and it's just people just don't necessarily want that, and they're showing up to show us, all of us are showing up to say, we don't believe in that. We don't want this.
When there was a large half of America, the 70 million people that did vote for Trump.
Oh, yeah.
We cannot. It's unfair for us to say that all of those people are ignorant. They're bigots. They hate
Oh,
people.
they're absolutely
da-da-da-da,
not.
Right?
They're absolutely not.
Yeah, it's more.
We
or
can't
less-
discount that either,
Yeah, we sure cannot.
Yeah.
But it's more or less the idea that A lot of people are misled.
I mean, that's a big part of it. Misinformation has just become such a linchpin in our society, and it's come between us in a way that I don't know if in history we've had this kind of moment where people actually believe two completely different stories about the same thing, and it is happening like at a pandemic level, and it's just really, I mean, it worries me so much because that's my job. Like I literally think about this all day, every day, and it's it's stressful. It's how do you fix it is really the question. How do you fix it? It's too big. It's kind of gotten out of our hands, and so we're doing everything we can, and that's part of our mission on this podcast. I think we talk about this a lot.
Is a way to fix it. Like, I guess you're right. It's pinpointing the issue,
right?
Issues. It's pinpointing them, right, and saying,
yes.
What is causing this? What causes that division? 2 podcasts ago, we were talking about how, the past 15 or so years, 20 years, the two-party system has become more and more and more and more divided.
Yeah.
There's a cause to that.
Yeah.
That seems systematic.
Yes.
How does an educated individual say to themselves, I refuse to wear a mask during a pandemic, ... I don't care whatever comes after that. But if you're educated and somebody's telling you to wear a mask during a pandemic,
not just to protect yourself, but more to protect everyone else. It's just like, the courtesy thing is like, that is something we've lost a lot of empathy. We don't see ourselves in each other as Americans. We see each other as two different sides of things. And it's that division has become so dangerous.
We see each other as rivals.
Rivals, yes.
Yeah, 'cause it's like, I may not agree with you, but just because I don't agree with you on certain things doesn't make you a bad person. Right. It doesn't make you the enemy, And I think Joe Biden talked about that in his acceptance speech when he accepted the nomination for president. It's just, we have to remember, and I understand people want to be upset. And I mean, like, hey, you have every right to be upset if you were mistreated or anything like that. But at the end of the day, we have to learn to be the bigger person in certain instances. And I think that the way to do that is remember that there is another person. Like what we were talking about in our action points last week. There is another person. There's a person at the end of that other opinion.
I think the real biggest issue is the lack of trust on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
It's we've lost trust. It's,
I agree.
Like a lot of people have lost trust in the doctors that are telling them these things because they were told to.
Yeah. Speaking of doctors, did you guys see that today Ben Carson was diagnosed with COVID-19?
Yes, I did.
Now, Ben Carson was at the Trump party that had, 250 people
super spreader
at it?
event?
Yeah, the Super Spreader 2 party. And Ben Carson now has COVID. Now, Ben Carson is a brain surgeon. When he's in surgery, he wears a mask.
Educated.
Not for his protection, but to know that he will not be able to contaminate that person.
Was he not wearing a mask at this event?
I mean, like,
probably not, but
I'm not going to say that I was at that
no.
event and I saw him not wearing a mask, but if you're getting COVID-19, it's because you're not taking the precautions necessary.
That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it.
Or you're choosing to be in a room full of people who are definitely not taking the precautions.
Exactly.
Remember, there's still a chance to get it, even if you're both wearing a mask. It's not zero.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like 1% or something.
That's absolutely true.
But
and if you're wearing a mask and they're not wearing a mask, then
very
the risk
high.
is super high.
So even if he was wearing a mask,
then there you
he
go.
went to the event, and
why go
you
to that
know that
event?
nobody else was wearing one.
If you're a doctor and you're supposed to be the leading brain surgeon or whatever the hell it was, but he is a brain surgeon, it doesn't guarantee that this person is smart. I'm sorry. It doesn't. It says that they are good at performing brain surgery, that they were able to be educated in that aspect, but that does not mean that we have such a worship of doctors, which, hey, if you're a doctor, I'm not going to down talk you at all. Like, super strong person, very intelligent in whatever field you chose to be, but that does not mean that you know everything. Right. It doesn't make you like some sort of super genius just because you're above the norm.
Well, I mean, when we see that as an example, Mr. Carson getting, COVID, he's clearly exposing himself in ways.
Yeah, because I mean, regardless, he was at that party.
Yeah.
If you are a person that is supposed to be in the medical field, you know that in the middle of a pandemic, you do not go to a party with 250 people.
Just come on. Just use some common sense.
Yeah, I think it's common sense, right? Like, I mean, I think that's what's missing is that a lot of
He
these
just got that
a lot
Carson
of these
sense.
people.
Not that good.
Oh God.
Carson's. He's on the dad jokes today.
He is on the
man.
dad jokes today.
But going back to the losing trust, that's people not accepting the results of this election because
Man, these
of
lawsuits.
the lawsuits, voter fraud, all kinds of things.
And
that
it's like the lawsuits are getting thrown out at the state level.
Oh,
okay?
because they're
Because they're
baseless. They have
baseless. And like
nothing.
even the judges themselves say, we're throwing them out because we have asked you to provide us evidence, and you say, whoa.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't have any evidence.
There is no evidence.
You don't take something to court to prove it. You prove it in court. Or you don't take it to court hoping that a judge is going to rule in your favor just to prove it that way.
I've seen people say, well, Joe Biden's president, well, we'll prove that he won. That's like, no,
We had just had an election.
Prove that he didn't. I mean, like,
Yeah,
it's up to you to prove it.
I think it was a representative of the Trump campaign or a representative of the RNC. I was watching this video earlier today. I can't remember the guy's name or the organization, but I know that he was either in the Trump campaign or the RNC. Was talking about how, we'll take it to the Supreme Court and hope that Amy Coney Barrett rules in our favor. So I mean, like that right there is telling me, the viewer, that Trump campaigned to put Amy Coney Barrett in the Supreme Court, knowing that this would have been a possibility,
Oh, absolutely.
and hoping that she would then turn this in his favor. However, the part that they completely didn't even account for is that she is only one person on the Supreme Court,
Right.
and she still has to have evidence to back up a claim.
Right. I mean, it's not going to get to the Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
you're not just going to
if
get
you
to the
can't
Supreme Court
prove-
and then be like, oh, okay, yeah, we're just going to give this election to you.
It's all
Like,
good.
don't
Oh,
worry, we're
you
not
gave me my job?
Okay,
Yes, of
okay,
course
here,
I'm
I
going to
got
rule
you,
in your
I got
favor.
you.
Here, okay. So I've got a little something about this one. So they were talking about in this recount, they wanted to stop the voting counts in Pennsylvania. Okay, so they want to stop the voting counts in Pennsylvania, but Biden's already winning. So if they stop counting, who's already won Pennsylvania? Biden. Now, if you continue counting, what are the votes that are coming in? Mail-in
ballots.
votes. Who told their supporters not to go mail-in vote?
Oh, he told them to vote twice, didn't he?
Yeah, to go ahead.
Which is illegal.
Very
Extremely
illegal.
And so it's like they found themselves that like, okay, well, we don't want you to stop voting, but we don't want you to stop counting the votes, but we also don't want you to continue counting the votes. We just want you to give us this election. It's just a
Right.
little kid going up to someone like, give me it. Give me it.
Give me
Like,
that.
give me that.
It was a
Give me. I
great-
want that election. Give it to me. That's my election. Like,
On SNL, it was amazing. I don't know if you guys watched that cold open.
No.
But it was Trump like, oh, we need to stop counting the ballots. No, stop counting. And then someone comes up and whispers to him, he's like, oh, I'm losing. Oh, keep counting the ballots.
Yeah.
Count
Every ballot.
yeah, and it's like at this point, it just feels. And I mean, it's sad to say because I really wanted, regardless of my personal opinion of Donald Trump, I wanted him to be a good president. I think we all
God,
did.
yeah.
I think we
hoped
all
that he would
want.
step in.
We all
Step
want
into
the
that
president to be
place.
good regardless of who it is.
Absolutely.
And I had such optimism that maybe, just maybe, it would have been great, you know?
I literally just talked about this yesterday.
But it's
Yes.
like every time that I would be like, well, maybe he's going to get his shit together this time. He'd just be like, maybe we should start chugging bleach. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
What are you thinking?
Why don't
And
we just
it-
shoot a nuke into that hurration?
Right.
That's
Oh,
like,
God. When he pulled the Sharpie out
the
for the hurricane. Oh, my
oh,
God.
did you guys see that? I mean, where it was like, it was just a map of the United States. And he was like, look, I won. It was just colored in red Sharpie. And he was holding the red Sharpie.
Nice. No, but yeah, that's
I don't want to gloat and I don't want to make people feel bad about it. It's just that it's so baseless. Like there's nothing, if there's one thing we can trust, it is our voting system. There's 5 states that do all mail-in ballots and have figured out this system, and there's no fraud. I mean, we talked about this, and I think in our first episode, that there's almost no voter fraud, virtually no fraud at all in our voting system in this country. It's one of the few things we do right. And so there's nothing that with the mail-in ballots and things like that, there's nothing to stand on to say that this is in any way, fraud. And they're trying to come up with all these crazy claims. I mean, some of them are just wild, like out there. And I'm like, guys, why are you believing this stuff? Like, why does the regular person believe this? They, how have they just fallen in line behind this person who just spouts all this nonsense, and they just follow it and fall for it, hook, line, and sinker?
Because there's nostalgia behind it.
And loss. Like, denial is one of the first stages of loss.
I guess so.
To a lot of people, being a Trump supporter is a big part of who they are.
Yeah, it's become part of their identity.
Yeah, which you should not. Like,
it shouldn't
us
be.
being, Biden supporters, we're not.
I'm not going to be
Biden
flying his flag. I'm not going to be wearing his merch. I'm not going to go and just stroke his ego just because he's my guy. Like, I'm sorry, because he's not.
Yeah.
He may be my president. He's our president, but it doesn't mean that I have to be in this cult of personality to just continually hey, did you know that I'm a Biden supporter? Did you know that I'm a Biden supporter? Hey guys, did you know that I'm a Biden supporter?
This over support the flying of the paraphernalia, the propaganda, whatever it is, the flags and all that
paraphernalia, technically.
Paraphernalia. It changes the relationship between the politician and the civilian.
It's culty.
Yeah,
it's
because
a culty
at that point,
thing.
you're not supporting his ideas, which is the whole thing. You're supposed to be supporting an elected official's ideas and policies. At that point, you're just saying, I don't give a about anything that he does. Whatever he does is okay to me.
I can't tell you how many Trump supporters I've talked to who said, oh, no, I know he's an asshole. I know he says things in a certain way, and I know he says some crazy stuff, but he's my guy. And then I'm like, well, why? And they don't really have a reason. There's not, if anything, it's, he was good for my 401k. Well, you know what? I saw a chart today that said that I think it was on SNL actually. Said that when Biden and Obama were in office, the stock market was 4 times higher than when Trump was in office.
Yeah,
so
the things that he's spouting off that he did, Obama and Biden did way better. But
it goes back to a conversation that you and I had on Election Day, Cody. I really wish we would have gotten it on recording, but it was an anecdote that you had told me of a story that you had read, talking about how a woman was interviewed and was asked what are the things that you just don't like about Joe Biden? And she was like, I can't support Hunter Biden's deals that he's made with the Russians. And he's like, okay, well, I understand if you can't support him doing deals with the Russians, even though he's not the person that you're voting for in the presidency. I understand your reasoning. Well, how about Ivanka Trump and how she's made deals with those same people to put hotels and stuff? And they're like, Ivanka's an angel. And it's like, come on, dude, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, Right. It's like you have to have some baseline of morality, like you like to talk about, Julius. It's like you have to have that baseline of morality to where you're like, this is right, this is wrong. Not this is right when this person does it and this is wrong when this person does it. Because right is right and wrong is wrong. It's not dependent on who's doing it.
And speaking of wrong, did y'all hear about the official election defense fund that Trump has?
Oh, that scam.
Oh man, it is a total scam. The man is grifting all of his supporters. He started an election defense fund, an official election defense fund.
Which let's say Biden also has something similar to it.
Yes, and we'll get to that. And it's supposed to help with the legal with the cost of a recount and all this kind of stuff. Well, when you look at the fine print, 60% of it goes to Trump's campaign fund to help pay off his campaign, and the other 40% goes to the RNC to help them.
Wow.
And so, and Biden has one too, and a big chunk of it goes to it's for recounts and for legal aid, and then for the DNC, who are, I assume, part of that recounting process, which is why the RNC is part of Trump's, I'm sure. But most of it's going into his campaign fund to pay off his debt. And it's just it's not even hidden. It's out there for everyone to see. The man just doesn't even care. And you know what? They're giving him money. They're giving their money to him.
Yeah, I mean, who reads the terms and conditions? Not them, obviously.
Remember the build the wall deal? It just happened a few months ago. I'm not sure it was Haggerty or there was some campaign that GOP was trying to get people to give money to, and the campaign was directly supposed to be behind building the wall.
Yeah.
But they were just pocketing the money.
Oh God.
I'm paraphrasing right now. I'm gonna go ahead and look that up just so that we can have that as a reference. But that was the thing, because my AV company that I work for did their GOP dinner here in Tennessee, at the Westin. And so I was able to understand early that dinner may be compromised because nobody was wearing a mask.
Oh, God.
And my coworkers, who I hold dear to my heart, were honestly, they were exposed to, and they were wearing masks, but they were exposed to that situation because like literally half of the people at that dinner were not wearing masks. And of course, people got sick. It was a big deal.
I'm sure they did.
The health department was sending out a notification. Anybody that was a part of this dinner, you need to go get tested for COVID. You might have it.
Oh my God.
So, it's a reality.
Yeah.
This misinformation deal is a freaking reality. But
yeah, well, the whole thing about that fund is just like, I really hope that people who may support him and would maybe give money to that see these news items and don't immediately dismiss them as fake news, so that they don't give money to somebody who is just grifting them. You know what I mean? Like,
it's so sad because
it's sad. It's sad.
I understand that these people have their candidate of choice. I mean, like, hey, support who you want to support. That's none of my business, and I shouldn't tell you who to support. But it makes me feel bad that these people are essentially just getting ripped off. Yeah. But are they, though? Because, I mean, are they actually wanting to give to this defense fund, or are they just wanting to, I'm just going to give money to support this person, whatever he wants to do with it, he can do with it? I mean, like, and that's...
I don't think it matters either way. I think if you're saying that it's going to one thing and you're giving it to another thing to pay off your own debt because you freaking can't...
Do you think that's because he knows that a recount's not going to help him? And...
yeah, he's just trying to get out from under his debt because he's got $1 billion in debt. He doesn't need any more.
He just put up his $1 million helicopter for sale yesterday. That's not a joke.
Didn't.
That's 100%.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he's trying to basically get out. And I mean, I don't know if he actually owns it or not, or it might just still be under Deutsche Bank that owns it. But I mean, they're going to come and they're going to eventually want to get theirs.
So,
also, he golfed all weekend. Did y'all know that?
This past weekend?
Yes.
Wow.
He golfed like 2 or 3 times.
No, you remember that first 100 days where he was like, Obama's always golfing. I'm never going to golf. And he's literally golfed. He's golfed at least I mean, he's golfed more than any other president.
Remember when he said he's going to make Mexico pay for the wall?
Yeah. Let's get back to that. Thank you very much for bringing that up. So I need to apologize. I didn't find anything necessarily about Haggerty, but this is a deal. Steve Bannon, 3 others indicted for stealing money from We Build the Wall fund.
Oh my God! Did y'all see Bannon got banned from Twitter, entirely? Like, can't come back on because he said that people should be beheaded. Who did he say should be beheaded?
Oh yeah, I had shared that in our little group chat over the weekend.
Was it Joe Biden and Kamala?
No. Wow. I don't think it was him. It was, it was somebody else.
I don't remember who he said should be beheaded, but he literally called for their beheading on Twitter. And Twitter was like, no, man, you can't do that.
Wow.
This is not freaking ISIS country. Like, you can't just threaten to behead people. Like, what is... Also, remember when they ruined Kathy Griffin's life because she deigned to have a fake Trump head with a beheading, but he can say stuff like that. Like,
Kathy Griffin. I thought you were talking about Kathy Lee Gifford.
Oh, Kathy Griffin.
Kathy Griffin.
It's not Griffith. It's Griffin.
Yeah, Peter Griffin's cousin.
Yeah, Steve Bannon banned from Twitter for suggesting Dr. Fauci.
Oh, Fauci. That's right.
Fauci be beheaded.
Yeah. Like, what is wrong with you? I mean, man.
I'm sorry.
Suggested on his online show that Dr. Anthony Fauci and FBI Director Christopher Wray should be beheaded for not being pro-Trump enough. Where do we live? Is this...
I don't know.
No, I mean, like, and people want to talk about living in like a communist or fascist society, and like how the radical left is wanting to like turn this on. But I mean, like, I'm sorry, Steve Bannon.
Are you serious?
Steve Bannon. That's exactly what he's doing.
Come on.
Like, and that's the problem. You know, it's the GOP like mainframe. You know, like, not the people that are Republican. I'm talking like the GOP, okay, is just such a cancer. And, I mean, in ways, so is the DNC.
I really do appreciate you making... I'm sorry to interrupt. I do appreciate you making that distinction.
Yeah, because, look, and we've said it on this show multiple times now. I don't know if some of our listeners get what we're trying to say. There is nothing wrong with being a Republican, being pro-small government or pro fiscal responsibility. I completely understand that. I completely can understand and get behind that. There is definitely a problem with the superstructure of both parties. And that's what I was hoping whenever we had that initial conversation of like, let's drain the swamp, I was hoping that's what would happen, because that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
We need to get the people that have been manipulating and pulling the strings behind the strings, or pulling the strings behind the scenes. We need to get them out, because it's ruining our democracy.
We need to get big money out of politics. I mean, really, we do. And the DNC is just as guilty.
Yep.
They are, the
big
Democratic Party just as guilty.
When
as
y'all
this.
stole that from Bernie,
career
when y'all did
politicians.
that to Bernie, bro, I swore I was jumping ship. When the whole deal came out and they were, trying to conspire behind his back, and they sent emails through Hillary's camp, and it was like, at all costs, make sure he looks like a crazy granddad. Come on, y'all.
Yeah.
Hey, and can I
backwards?
Can I confess something to you guys?
Please.
Live on air. In 2015, was it that Trump announced his campaign?
Yeah.
He came down the stairs and everything. I was a Trump supporter for a solid 8 minutes.
No.
It was
A solid 8 minutes.
It was coming down the.
It was a
Oh,
joke.
Lord.
No. It wasn't so much that it was a joke, but it was that I was misinformed.
Yeah.
I thought that he was this rich guy who was like run it like a business. He's gonna lower our debt. He's going to maximize the profits for the country. Like, okay, great. Like, literally, third word out of his mouth is like, all Mexicans are rapists, or whatever it was that he said, and I'm like,
Did you support Mitt Romney?
Exactly.
Because Mitt Romney's a rich businessman, and that was his platform.
Here's my thing, though. Mitt Romney was a Republican that I would have considered voting for had he not been running up against Barack
Yeah, it was
Obama.
like, I wish we had Mitt Romney to run.
Oh yeah, if Mitt Romney had run in 2016, I would have been a lot less angry or upset
sure. We'd
about
all
the
be a
result.
lot.
I mean, and that's all in retrospect, like I couldn't.
I mean, Mitt Romney's also kind of garbage. So
I don't think, but at least he has a line of morality. Especially, I mean, like he has come out in offense or in opposition of Donald Trump multiple times.
Yeah, he's also done some other
And
egregious stuff. But.
what was his name? John McCain.
John
Like
McCain.
The last Republican candidates that we've had were decent men.
Decent men.
And
yes.
just running on their politics, as opposed to their platform of hatred.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and that's part of the problem, is that with Trumpism comes this far right extremism that is so dangerous to our country, because that's how you end up in places like Saudi Arabia and stuff like that, where everything is so oppressive and all of that, and that's really what we run into when we start getting these like extreme spectrums of ideas. Most of the Democrats, you've got your far leftists who, or your even farther Marxist anarchists and stuff like that, but they are a very small portion of what makes up, the Democrats or the left side, the liberal side.
Vote.
Yeah, most of them don't vote, and at the end of the day, the Democrats are like, no, we're just like here for some policies that include everybody, like
what
not doing
guys?
anything super crazy, just like want police to stop killing people.
Is
like,
that cool? Can
we have police that not kill people in this country? Is that
that'd
a
be
thing that we
cool.
can do?
Education for K through 12? No.
Right, and then on the other side of it, you've got Republicans who are just like, glorifying this hatred and fanning these flames of division for all of us, and
then also,
saying all Mexicans are rapists. Like, I mean, it's just such crazy hate speech, and we've just been living in it for 4 years. It's just wild.
The thing that I do want to applaud Republicans for, and it's that segment of Republicans that were able to kind of see the light toward the end. And again, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a Republican, but to be able to say, okay, I will not vote for hatred. There were a lot of Republican voters that had voted Republican in 2016 that then switched. They may have voted for a Democratic president, then voted completely down ballot Republican.
Absolutely, they did. That's how people like Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham still won, even though Biden won.
Yeah, and are those elections also fraudulent? Like that's not that's a conversation that no one's wanting to talk about right now. It's like if Donald Trump wants to come out and say that this election is a fraud, then let's throw out the entire election, not just your race because you lost.
Yeah.
Okay, at that point you're acting like a kid. Like you're acting like a very small child.
Very good observation.
No, I mean, because
there is a whole movement to do a complete revote
Hey, and if that's the way that they want to do it, that is better.
I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
That's a better way to do it than saying, okay, we're just going to vote again for this one race. Because I'm sorry, that's not the way that it works.
No, you don't get a do-over because you don't like the result. That we already voted. That's the way it works. Get over it.
There's something.
It'd be different if there was any actual evidence of anything.
That's what I mean. If there were any evidence at all, I would be like, all right, I could see where they're coming from. But there's literally no evidence.
Listen,
Just get the hell over it.
We want a true election. We want every vote
a free and fair election.
Of course.
If there's something to be investigated, we don't want you to not investigate it. Absolutely, we want to make sure that it's legitimate.
I think telling people to get over it is kind of feeding into what they think that we're saying. It's not get over it, and it's not like an attack or anything. What I'm saying is I think what you're meaning by get over it is, look, we understand that you may not like the result, but the result is the result.
Right.
If there is any type of election fraud or voter fraud, as they like to call it, which doesn't really happen all that much, but if there is any form of election fraud, it is extremely minute amounts of maybe a double ballot, maybe one here, one there. But I'm sorry, you don't get 5 million
No, there's just
instances
no way.
of voter fraud.
There's just no way.
You don't get an extra almost 100 electoral votes from fraud.
Right.
At that point, you're saying that the entire system is broken. And if that's what you're saying, I'll hop on that train.
Yeah, because we've already talked about that. It is, in fact, broken.
It is broken.
But hey, a broken clock can be right twice a day.
And it was right this next time go around. But look, there's something we should keep putting out there. We will keep pressing this home every episode. We are a bipartisan podcast because we look for bipartisan voices. We want to have conversations with people on the other side. As we already stated, we are majority liberal individuals. But what is clear is that what we want to make clear is that we do not believe all people who decide to vote Republican are in some form ignorant.
Oh God,
perhaps maybe misled.
Yeah.
But we don't want you to think that we're bashing you. We don't want you to think that we are in a disdain or a hate. We are in the mode of getting the dignity of our country back.
And when I say get over it, I don't even mean the voters. I'm talking more about Trump.
Yeah.
Because he's the one who's being just ridiculous about this, because he's our leader and he needs to have some form of decorum to him. And instead, he's spreading all this misinformation. Well, disinformation. He's doing it on purpose. Yeah. He's spreading all this disinformation to purposefully divide us, purposefully make sure that we do not see ourselves as Americans, but we see ourselves as Republicans and Democrats. Yep. And I really hate that, because we're all Americans and I love this country and I want it to be better. And we should always be working towards something better, working towards progress, working towards making our country work better, be a happier place, be a more equitable place. And I don't understand why he thinks that with equity comes some kind of form of he's going to lose something.
And I want to put this out there too. I was born in 1987. America, in my eyes personally, has always been great. So when a campaign comes out saying, let's make it great again, what exactly are we going back to?
Right. Slavery?
I've always enjoyed myself. I mean, for the most part, it's been we could talk about some bull here and there, but
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? What's so damn bad about it?
And what you were saying, that they're just trying to divide us. I think people need to understand, what we've been saying earlier, that there are people on both sides that are great. There are good people on both sides of issues. We've talked about this person before. I'm not going to name her just to keep her anonymous. But one of my favorite people in my inner circle right now is a Trump supporter. I have no problem with her politics. Her politics don't dictate the way that I view her in life. She is an amazing person. You know who you are. You know who you are. But she's a lovely, lovely person. And the fact that she was a Trump supporter, she had a sign in her yard. I had absolutely no problem with it. I had signs in my yard. She had absolutely no problem with it. We've talked. We've shared parts of we've talked about different aspects of our life. We've shared stories with each other. I mean, she knows my daughter, and I have no problem with that. Like, my daughter absolutely loves her.
And that's what we need.
And there's nothing about her political views that make me not like her in any way.
Same thing with Steve, who we interviewed last week. He's a very good friend of mine. Tons of times he's come over, we've had these conversations and gotten, he spouts off his and I spout off to him, and I listen and we both listen to each other. But I mean, he's helped me out so many times, and like we're good friends, and our politics are very, very different, but we're able to talk about it, and it doesn't dictate anything other than this is your politics. It's not. It doesn't affect how I feel.
It shouldn't be your identity.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's really the thing. Is your politics should not dictate your identity, and that's part of the problem. I think is that that really has become part of the issue. When I think of like the way I describe myself, like today, I went to the chiropractor. He wanted to know what my activities and my interests were on the little form that I filled out. Did I put on there Democrat, liberal? No. Did I put Biden supporter? Hell no, I didn't do that. But unfortunately, because that's not how I identify myself.
Right.
I identify myself as, a musician, as somebody who likes to quilt on the side. I mean, those are the things that I talk about when I identify myself. Whereas, unfortunately, on the other side of things, it has become such a part of the identity. And when something so hateful becomes part of your identity, it only means that you're going to become a more hateful person in a lot of ways. And then some people manage to defy that, like your friend, and it's like, that's so awesome to see that still exists. Like, that gives me hope.
Exactly.
That gives me hope that we're going to come out of it.
That was what it was. It's so refreshing to see a Republican person that isn't just in that cult of personality.
Exactly.
And it's like,
song.
Regardless of her political views, it's like it didn't make me think any less of her as a person. Absolutely. Because of the way that she treated me. Now, if she had been doing her thing, like, or doing the stereotypical, like flying a MAGA flag and like wearing the MAGA hat and like just acting hateful, then yeah, probably I would have a little bit more of disdain for her. Like another neighbor that I've got, again, or not neighbor, another person that I know, but well, we may cut that, whatever. But she is a person first, and her political views come second.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how it should be.
That's the way that it should be on both sides.
Yeah, like your politics can be important to you, but they shouldn't be, integral to your identity.
Exactly. And here, I'll even give a counterpoint. There is someone that you and I both follow on social media who will also remain nameless, who is a die-hard Democrat, like as extreme liberal as I would know, and I do not want to hang out or be associated with that person at all.
Wow.
Because she is so like, if you are in my family and you voted for Trump, you're out of my will. And she's like being 100% serious about this type of stuff. Okay, like it's on both sides. You can't be as extreme to one side or the other that you're willing to isolate people in your life because they don't think like you, because at that point you're just weak.
And let's be real, I'm not sure where the comment came from. It was a little screenshot that we all shared earlier, but a gentleman was talking about how, as you both just stated, it is a problem on both sides, but a part of the aggression and perhaps some of the separation is coming from the I hate to even say it, but more or less a liberal media's tone that is a degrading and begrudging kind of attitude to the other side.
Yeah, because the media, all that they want is to get views, and they know that sparking controversy is going to get those views. Yeah. And what's more controversial right now is dividing the country.
Yeah.
So if they can succeed in dividing the country, they succeed at getting the eyeballs on their product.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my little conspiracy theory. But
no, that's real though.
Prove me wrong.
No, that's real. We talked about a system earlier.
Yeah.
How is it that a group of people in a country with similar views have seemingly become so much more divided?
It goes back to what I talked about last week about one of the worst things that could have happened to our political landscape was the creation of the 24/7 news media.
Yeah.
Because at some point you run out
of stuff.
You run out of stuff, and you're just spouting opinion. And since you are a news, quote, news network,
Yeah.
people are going to view what you're saying as news. And then that goes to what you were saying with misinformation, is having to be able to separate opinion from fact. You can't just listen to the person in the box and believe that everything that they're saying is 100% like unbiased, because it's not. If it's making you feel a certain way, it's probably because it's biased.
Wow.
Yeah. If it's inflammatory or something like that, then
But
absolutely. There's
Also,
a reason to
SNL
feel
did
that.
a whole skit on the whole news thing. It's like, Nebraska had a hailstorm. Let's talk to some people from Nebraska. And it's like, it hailed. Oh, let's go to the next person. Like, yeah, it hailed. And then,
Hail,
what happened?
yeah.
Well, I was driving down the road and it started hailing.
Yeah.
And they're like, what happened to you? I was sitting at home and it started hailing.
So there you go then. I
Yeah.
mean, it's,
Also, SNL has been on their game the last few weeks. It's
yeah,
been great.
SNL, congratulations to you. Y'all have been killing it. But, you know, that there it is right there. It is a recognize of how both sides are perhaps playing into that division.
Absolutely.
And we should.
But I have such a hard time with the both sides argument
Right.
sometimes, because with Trump, it's so hateful.
Yeah.
And it's so
Yeah.
fascist.
Yeah.
And there's so much wrong with what he says. And he literally degrades everybody who are not white people who follow him. And it's so divisive, and it makes me so angry, and like I just don't see that from the other side. So I think that you have to make that concession as well, as like, yeah, there's people who are on both sides who are both extreme, and that's a problem because the extremism is the problem. But on one side you've got the hateful extremism, and the other side you've got, they don't like the hateful extremism, so they're mad.
Yeah.
You know, and I just don't know that those two things are comparable. I don't know that you can correlate those two things and say that they're both as bad as the other one, because one of them I think is way worse.
Everything's cause and effect. Everything is cause and effect.
Yeah.
And, you know, the side, the blue side, you're right, is typically a response to hate or response to negativity.
And it hasn't always been that way. Like, I'm not saying that is historically, because there are things that the Democrats have done that I found egregious in the past.
Yeah.
You know, but the Republicans were not quite so hateful then.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't the same as it is now, where it has just gotten so extreme, and I think that has to be called out.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what this is about.
Yeah.
It's being real about it.
Yeah.
You know?
That's just my opinion. You know, I mean, that's not necessarily how everybody feels, but that's my opinion.
That's the important thing. It's your opinion, and that opinion's valid.
Mm-hmm.
Just like my opinion on the same subject is valid as well. Cody's opinion, Julius's opinion.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. That's what this is about.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be 100% on board of the exact same idea. We can have different aspects that we may or may not disagree with, but we're all here to listen to each other.
Yeah.
We're all here to listen to you all, the fans,
Yes.
the listeners. I won't say fans just yet, but I will say listeners.
Yes.
Before we jump the gun.
Jump the gun, right?
And on that note, guys, I think we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back with the next part of our conversation.
All right. Welcome back, Sparklers. Thank you for sticking with us. If you were with us earlier, we were talking about a myriad of subjects. Some of them included the first female president, Kamala Harris. Congratulations again. Vice President. Thank you. Sorry. Appreciate it. First, one day we'll have a first female president.
One day.
Very soon, I know. First female vice president.
Not too
Kamala
soon.
Harris.
It could be pretty soon.
That's a terrible joke.
It is a terrible joke. We talked about election fraud, misinformation. Please, if you're listening to stuff on Facebook, if that's all you're getting your information from, just do yourself a favor. Don't worry about us. Do yourself a favor. Google that ish, please. Google it first. Google it multiple times, different ways. Type it in the key search, different types of ways.
learn
Figure it out.
it. Don't Google just the
The thing that you want to know.
Yeah.
And,
Google
and
the
don't
question.
go to InfoWars, please. I'm begging you. Please.
InfoWars.
Steve, don't send me any more InfoWars on Messenger.
InfoWars is just about as credible as, well, Spark in the Valley on their 3rd episode. So,
Hey,
I mean,
we're pretty credible.
so there you go.
Hey, but
I try
InfoWars
to
has been
keep us
around for a
accountable.
long time. So that's saying
Exactly. Saying a lot.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to ask, like, I've been hearing like a lot of like random, probably misinformation, just about this idea that Trump may or may not concede, and if he can or if he can't. I mean, guys, like we voted,
man.
5 million extra people were like, "Yo, Biden."
Yeah.
So what?
Oh,
I thought that it was like completely like written into the Constitution, but apparently not.
I watched this video today with Van Jones that talks all about how what happens if the president doesn't concede, and there's actually legal standing for him to not concede and stay president. Yes.
So that's where
I
this
find that
information is coming
completely
from.
ridiculous.
Then.
Is
No, it's so crazy, right? I mean, it's totally crazy. And a lot of it, now this, to be fair, he put this video out before the election. So it's
okay.
one of those things where they didn't really know what the results were going to look like, but
see.
he actually predicted it like pretty close, which is really, he was like, only if it's, if it's a landslide, there's nothing we can do. And in some ways, this was a landslide. Like we've won so many electoral votes and everything. So I don't know that this stands up right now considering where we're at, but because of all of the rhetoric around voter fraud and mail-in ballots and all of this stuff that Trump is spewing right now, there is actually some standing, I think, for this, and it's really crazy. I mean, go watch the video. It's Van Jones. It's a TED Talk, and it's Van Jones talking about what happens if the president doesn't concede. So I would suggest, in fact, I think that's my action point this week. I think for my action point this week, I'm going to say go watch this video because it's really wild. It kind of blew my mind and also kind of terrified me a little bit, and part of me doesn't want to talk about it because I don't want anyone to know that is a possibility. But it's definitely...
The White House did just come out and say in the last day or two that they will accept the results of a fair election.
Yeah, but
then
what does that
What is a
mean?
fair election
Right.
to them,
Exactly. Like
But
at what
I think it would
point?
be up to them to give proof that it was not a fair election.
Well, there's actually already been issues with this because he has not conceded like most presidents would have by now. Because he hasn't conceded, the transition team is like getting blocked on all these different things, and there's all these things they would have already started doing that they're not doing. So it's going to put everything behind, and so it's really it's wild. And in fact, I think that's something we should talk about next week.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I feel like what they're trying to do is if they can't stay in power, they're going to try to make it as difficult for Biden
We've already seen
to
that.
start. And I mean, like Trump even said back in 2016 when he was like, he still called that election a fraud because he lost the popular vote, right? So I mean, hey, maybe this whole presidency has been a fraud. Who knows? But it's like he came out and was like, yeah, I'll accept the results if I win.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's not accepting the results. That's just accepting what you want to happen. Like that, the results did not happen the way that you wanted them to. So, I mean, those are the results. If you're saying that you're going to accept them, accept them.
I would like to ask any American who's listening right now, how is this behavior going toward the direction of wanting our country to be one of the most successful countries in the world? If it's just this consistent bickering back and forth, I won. How is that helping the millions and millions of Americans suffering still at this very moment, although we may have forgotten from a pandemic crisis?
I don't know.
It's not.
It's not. I mean, that's a great question. It's not. And we've lost the unifying factor. And that's what we have to get back to. We've got to get back to being proud to be an American. One of the things that I take great umbrage with is that it has become this, like, somehow the far right has decided that patriotism belongs to them.
Yeah.
So the American flag belongs to them. And that Democrats hate America and hate the flag. And that is just not true.
Yeah.
I love this
We
country.
walked around with that
offensive.
gigantic flag on election day. We were so proud.
We're so proud.
And it was so nice. And the ladies that came up to us outside of the annex when you were playing trumpet on the steps of the courthouse in a video that we haven't released yet.
Yeah, and those steps no longer exist.
Those steps no longer exist. I'm so happy that we were able to get that video. But anyway, the ladies that came up to us, let's put this out there, stereotypically, I feel like I know where they lied politically. They were still extremely happy, extremely appreciative to see us out there. And they even told Cody, or I think it was you.
Yeah,
they told you, Julius. They're like, this is exactly what this town needs. This town needs more of this.
Yeah.
Just people being proud and being happy and just giving without expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
I was proud of our democracy. I was proud.
Man,
to be
I
out
was,
there.
and I said it last week. That was some of the most fun that I have had in a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
thank you, Athens, for letting us do that. You know,
and for receiving us so well and with so much kindness. It was really encouraging.
Yeah, it was very encouraging. Thank you for saying that. So Alex has given her action point. We definitely will make next week's episode a focus of this Van Jones TED Talk.
We'll put the link in the description as well.
We will put the link in the description. Thank you very much. My personal action point is, just because I haven't done this one yet, go tell someone you love them.
I think that's beautiful.
Go tell someone you love them. Not the cliche
Tell
mom
someone that you love them.
That you,
I don't know. Love's a strong word.
I understand. But hate is too.
Hate is is stronger than love sometimes.
Yeah. And so maybe even, yes, somebody that you love that you haven't spoken to in a while, just go call them up, tell them you love them. Don't talk about politics.
If somebody just came up in your mind, somebody that you used to talk to a lot, and for some reason or another you just haven't hit them up.
I got a few of them.
Yeah,
even if it's someone that you disagree with politics in your family.
Yes.
Maybe especially somebody you disagree with politics. If you are on the winning side,
we're changing the action plan.
No, and I mean,
if they were on the losing side, guys, and they're hurting
don't talk
right now.
about politics. Talk about how are you? How are you?
No, it's like you don't have to talk about politics. I'm saying maybe somebody who you know is on the other side, the losing side, unfortunately for them, I guess. Sorry, I'm not. Just being real. That's right. But maybe somebody who you know, because you know how they feel, because we felt that way 4 years ago. So you don't have to say anything. You don't have to gloat. You don't have to say anything about politics. All you have to say is, "Hey, I was just thinking about you, and I hope you're doing well.
Yes,
I love you. I miss you. Whatever that looks like." I think that we need more of that right now, and I think that's a great action point, Julius.
I
thank you. I'm done.
I think for my action point this week, I'm starting to think, and I mean, like we've all kind of been talking about it these past the couple action points here, but this is November, okay? It's November the 9th.
Yeah.
As of the time of this recording, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. Okay, what is the one thing that everyone has hated about Thanksgiving for the past 4 years? You're gonna have those awkward, drunk uncle conversations that.
Yep. I've got one of those.
Let's try and put that aside for the first time in a long time. Let's try and just put politics to the side. And
if you're going to your Thanksgiving celebrations,
if you're going to Thanksgiving celebration, if you got family, try to just not talk about politics. Can we just kind of
which is so ironic because all we do is talk about politics, but I see where you're coming from.
I see
where you're coming
the election is we've voted.
Yeah.
So
we voted.
all it is now is to
figure
out these votes, figure out we need to
move forward.
We need to move forward and figure out what we're going to do now.
Yeah.
What now?
Yeah. There you go. So with that, have we all? Oh no, we need one more.
Well, I contributed. Okay, I got one. If you have a hobby that you have not done recently, say picked up an instrument or picked up the paintbrush, pick it up, do it.
Return to living your life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Let's live life, because life is not politics.
Yeah.
Politics
if you've
is
been
not
living
life.
in existential dread for 4 years, take this moment to take a breath and just remember that things change, and
go get drunk and paint a cow on a canvas.
There you go.
A cow on a canvas.
Why not?
I look forward to coming here and playing piano and talking to my friends every week. So I wish everyone had an outlet like that.
Yeah.
So try to find that creative outlet. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. This is epic. It's an epic experience for me.
But
Yeah,
you
it's
find
like,
something that makes you happy.
Go live life. Have some experiences. Get a bad tattoo that you're going to regret.
No.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
If you do that, make sure it's a licensed tattoo artist.
That's true.
Tag
Not
us on
some
social
dude
media.
at a party.
If it's
I
at their house, I mean, yeah, even don't do it at their house.
I'd love to see your bad tattoos. Send them to me.
Yeah, please send your bad
JP, go to
tattoos to us.
JP's personal
I ran a
page or
tattoo
something.
shop for a while.
So he's seen some bad
I've
tattoos.
seen some bad tattoos.
Oh, here, let me say, they have to be on appropriate places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please
no
don't.
random tattoos.
No,
No butt tats.
Yeah,
No.
no.
You can send that to my personal messenger.
Hey,
No, you can send them all the feet ones.
do not send my boyfriend butt pictures. Thank you very much.
If you need an
Do not send me
idea
any
for a
feet
tattoo,
Do not send him any feet pictures.
it's his least favorite. Don't ask me how I know.
If you go to our Patreon, if you
We'll have
want-
bonus content about why.
Right. If you need an idea for a tattoo, we have an amazing logo that was designed by our very own Alex Sharp here. The Spark in the Valley logo. If you need the vector, just contact us. We'll send it out to you.
I'd love to see your attempts of tattooing my face onto your body.
Yes.
We'll pay you $100.
Please,
Yeah.
please send those to me.
If you're interested
directly.
in any merch, hit
Yes.
us up. We've got some ideas for some shirts soon.
We've got buttons and stickers. If
Yes.
anybody's interested, just hit us up and we'll get you one.
Yeah, we've got some nice. If you haven't watched any of our videos, we've got some really cool hoodies that we have made.
Yeah.
like this one.
Yeah,
Available
there it is.
at,
if you're watching the YouTube, you can
Available
see it.
at all authorized retailers, which as of right now are nowhere. But there will be.
Which just makes them special and exclusive. So just hit us up if you are interested, and we'll try to make it happen.
We've had ideas. We had the Spark in the Valley lighters.
Oh yeah, I actually had some made.
The light,
They're really
the
cool. We'll
light
take a picture of
sparkers.
those. Yeah, the light sparkers. Our hoodies were made by an amazing company up in Cleveland called 310 Graphics.
Absolutely amazing.
They are so nice.
I've
y'all.
washed this hoodie at least 6 times since we bought it.
Yes,
and
it's not.
There's no
I mean,
cracks.
It's pristine.
it's really
It feels
great.
just as fresh as the
times?
first day that I wore
Do I
it.
didn't do laundry enough?
He says 6 times.
we
6
definitely
times?
don't do laundry enough.
No, the sweaters are amazing.
Yeah,
If
they're
you're-
super light.
If you're in the Athens, Cleveland, Chattanooga, Knoxville area, and you need some quality,
If you're in the United
shirts,
States area,
United
hit up-
States area, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure he even does international shipping.
He will do international shipping.
These
I
are
just talked to
amazing
him.
hoodies.
He said it's cool.
Yeah.
310 Graphics.
Right in Cleveland, the heart of Cleveland.
Yes.
He's
Cleveland, Tennessee.
screen printing for America.
Yes. Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here with us. We had a great time talking to each other and talking to you guys, and we hope to hear from a lot of you soon.
Yeah.
As always, reach out to us on all social media at Spark in the Valley on Instagram and Facebook. We'd love to hear your comments, questions, concerns. If you have any ideas for future topics that you'd want us to talk about, please let us know.
Yeah,
you
send
can
them our
always
way.
send them, DM them to us, or you can comment on our wall, on our posts, any of our individual social media, please. Just know that we're always open to listening to you all, and we want to give you all the show that you want.
Send us your opinions.
Yeah, we love y'all's input.
And always remember to tell your friends and family about us. We always love to see that fan count has not stopped going up.
Yeah. Thank you.
We are almost
Thank you to
near,
our subscribers. Woo!
almost to
thanks to our
300
subscribers.
followers.
Yeah.
Y'all are
Which
awesome.
I was so surprised that we got 100 and we're almost to triple that.
Yes. Yes.
So,
we have a special gift for our first 100 followers. That's
We know
coming
who you are.
soon. We know who you are. Trust and believe. A little something special coming to you.
I've done the ending on the music like 3 times now.
Yes.
Sorry, guys.
But with
Everyone.
that, I think that's our
That's
show.
it. Yes.
So thank you all for listening.
Join us next week.
Spark in the Valley.
Be the spark.
Spark in the Valley is a Purple Mountain Pods production. It is hosted by Julius Johnson, Alex Sharp, Jean-Pierre Vasquez, and Cody Hensley. This podcast is produced and directed by Julius Johnson and co-produced by Alex Sharp, Jean-Pierre Vasquez, and Cody Hensley. Music supervising and original music by Cody Hensley. Studio engineering and management by Rob Barnett. Research supervision by Alex Sharp. Social media management by Jean-Pierre Vasquez. Special thanks to McMinn County Democratic Party and the McMinn Young Democrats.